So I have been on a weight loss plan over the last little over a year, and I still have a ways to go, but I just wanted to share with you what I eat in a typical day. Now, I've actually been out of state. I've been in Minnesota. I've been traveling for about a week. So I've pretty much been eating like yogurt every morning or something really small. So today I decided I wanted to have a really nice big breakfast. And so that's exactly what I did. So I started off this morning with a couple of fried eggs. I cooked up some onions and put some cherry tomatoes in here. And I also added a little bit of cheese to the top. So I'm just melting the cheese right now. And then I'm going to be adding them to my plate. I actually always put some nice hot salsa on my eggs. And you can see I have 4 strawberries there. So I'm going to be making a really delicious kind of a lunch dinner tonight, and this is going to be a kind of a carb friendly, it's considered an S meal. It's an enchilada casserole that we're going to be making with some, now they're saying carb-free tortillas. These are really low in carbs. They have 15 grams of carbohydrates, but they have 12 grams of fiber. So that gives us a net carb of 3. So I'm going to be making it out of these La Banderita carb counter flour tortillas. I'm going to be using some pre-cooked roast that I have. I'm going to be using some full-fat Monterey Jack cheese and some tomatillo salsa for our sauce. These are going to be super delicious. So let's go ahead and get these started. This is really a nice meal because we don't have to do the typical cooking our meat up and all that kind of stuff. I already have mine pre-done, and I ran it through my meat cutter yesterday, so I have it a really nice consistency, which is, you know, these very small pieces of roast beef. You know, to keep this exactly an S meal on Trim Healthy Mama, I do have some 0 carb tortillas, so I'm going to go ahead and use those instead of the La Banderitas. All right, so let's get going. So the recipe that I have printed in the description below is actually for enchilada casserole in a 9x13 pan. I'm going to cut mine in half, so I'm not going to go over the amount of the ingredients. I don't want to confuse you, but I did want to just show you how I make this casserole. So we're going to start off by greasing the bottom of our casserole dish. I'm just going to use some spray to put on mine. Just make it really easy. Now you can make this dish with beef, you can make it with chicken, whatever it is you decide to use. Just make sure that it's cooked up ahead of time. I'm going to be adding my meat. I'm going to add some diced chilies. I'm going to add some Monterey Jack cheese. And we're going to add some diced onion. All right, I'm going to mix all this up together. And this is going to be our meat mixture. Then we're going to take some Philadelphia, I used the 3rd less fat cream cheese. So I've added some cream cheese. I'm also going to be adding some Greek plain yogurt. I'm going to be adding some half and half. I'm going to be adding some garlic salt. Now I'm actually adding garlic powder because I'm trying not to use as much salt right now. So garlic salt or garlic powder. I'm going to be putting in some cumin. I'm also going to be adding some chili powder. And I don't have jalapeno pepper, so I'm going to leave that out, but I am going to add 1/4 cup of fresh cilantro. We're just going to put a lid on this food processor and blend this up. All right, that looks really good. All right, so I'm going to actually put a little bit of my tomatillo salsa in here along with this sauce. It's going to be kind of a chili verde kind of casserole. I'm going to start off by putting a small amount of this in here. And I'm also going to add a little bit of this sauce to the bottom. All right. Now we're going to be putting some of our 0-carb tortillas in. And all you're going to do is layer all your different products that you're using to make a really yummy, delicious casserole. Now, because these tortillas, these 0-carb tortillas are kind of small, I'm just going to cut them into quarters. Just going to lay them down over the top of these. There you go. Now we're going to put some of our meat mixture in here. I'm going to put about half of it in here because I don't want to use up too many tortillas, even being the keto carb friendly ones. I want to be careful with that. I'm putting some more of my tomatillo salsa over that. We're going to put more of our creamy kind of a cilantro sauce over it. About half. This is going to be so good. I wish you could smell it in here. Wow, it just smells amazing. I'm going to put a little bit more of this Monterey Jack cheese. All right, then we're going to put another layer of our tortillas. All right, then we're going to put the rest of our meat mixture right over the top of this. Now I actually had some leftover roast. I ran it through the meat cutter and got it kind of shredded up fine. And this is just a great way to use some of these other products. All right, we're gonna put a little bit more of our tomatillo salsa on here. This is gonna be a very creamy, delicious casserole. Just wanna spread it. I love this tomatillo casserole. This is actually a recipe I get out of the Ball canning book, and I can this every year with the tomatillos I grow in my garden. And now we're going to put the rest of our dressing on here. Our white sauce, I guess we should call it. It's not really a dressing. Just want to spread that. You just want to spread all this as even as you can, just so you have all the good flavors in every bite of your casserole. Now we're just going to put a little bit more cheese on the top. I'm going to be serving this tonight with a nice green salad. I've got some beautiful romaine lettuce that I picked up at the grocery store. I'm also going to be using some mushrooms. And I kind of like to wash everything together. There's just a lot of dirt on lettuce and different types of things. So I usually try to get these done ahead of time, make my salad ahead of time. I don't really like doing that at the last minute. I'm usually pretty busy with grandkids and stuff like that. So this is just some cilantro. I like to add it to my salad. I think it just, especially when you're having like a Mexican meal, it just adds a whole nother level of flavor. This out of my garden this morning. These are very small, but they're very good. They're the Ajvarski peppers. So I'm going to add this pepper to my salad and maybe a few tomatoes. I've got some small tomatoes I'm going to add, and that's probably about it for this salad. I'm going to go ahead and put some water in here and get it nice and cleaned up. Let me wash my salad, and then I'm gonna have it set in some ice water for a while before I get all the water out. I have a little red onion from my garden. I'll go ahead and take the skin off of that and just put that on our salad. It's very small, but these are very tasty onions. These are those, can't remember the name of them. I get these through Baker Creek, and boy, they're good. If I remember the name, I'll tell you. I cut my finger the other day, and so I'm having a little bit of a hard time with this. This is our salad. We've washed and cleaned. So my enchilada casserole is completely done. I am just going to get a serving of this. Oh, I can't even tell you how good my house smells right now. It just smells wonderful. It's just kind of ooey gooey, delicious. Now this is the way to use some leftover roast. This is a wonderful recipe. So this is my casserole. It's beautiful and delicious. And then I have a really nice salad that I'm going to be serving with it. Just has some mushrooms and onions and lettuce and peppers, and there's my salad. And then I'm going to be putting some of this Brianna's home style. It's a cilantro lime dressing. Now this only has 4 carbs, so I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of this on here. All right. All right, so I'm going to put some of that on. And then I'm also going to be serving this with a black raspberry LaCroix drink. So that is my dinner tonight. I think one of the things that I like best about preparing your meals ahead of time, say you're a working parent or you're just working in general, or you're busy during the day taking care of kids or grandkids, or who knows what your situation is, but by preparing your meals ahead of time, you can be sure to always stay on your diet and always have something really delicious. I mean, many times when I was working, I'd prep my stuff the night before. I would get my salads made the night before, just stick them in the fridge. And when I came home, it was so easy. Within 20 minutes, dinner was ready. So hopefully some of these meals will give you some ideas on how I've been able to manage this and continue with this weight loss, long term. It's really been something I haven't done before. I've never stayed on a diet a year. But I think part of it is the meal prepping and having food that I really like. Well, that dinner was really delicious, and I'm happy to say that I have dinner now for tomorrow night. I'm not going to have to cook anything. We're going to have the same thing again. And the last thing I'm going to be having today is an apple. This is a Cosmic Crisp apple, and I usually cut this up into slices and put a little bit of tahini over it. If you've never tried that, give it a try. It is so good and really gives your fruit kind of a zip. So that's it. That's what I eat in a day. I've lost 65 pounds to date, and it's been a little over a year. And hopefully this helps somebody out there kind of trying to think of ideas on things to eat and ways to stay on your diet. So if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to my channel. Give me a like, a thumbs up, or ring that bell for future notifications, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.